All right, also go ahead and open up Audacity so we can record audio too.
Mm-hmm.
You still there? Chandler, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. Just want to make sure that was fine. Okay. All right, so we are currently live, I believe. Let me go ahead and double check here. Yep, we're live. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this tweet sent out. Did we start 20 minutes late? Yeah, but it's us. So. All right, you got your predictions open?
I have to remember where I wrote them down.
You also sent them in a text message to me, so don't forget about that.
Oh, that works.
Jeez, I really, 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 really hate the new Twitter. They turned everything into bubbles, Chandler. And they have new notifications going on, and it's bad. It is bad. It is bad, and everybody should feel bad. My gosh.
Ah, here we go.
You found all of it?
Yeah.
Nice. Dude, I have to say, I've been super impressed. Like, I can't thank you and Neil enough for picking up the slack while I've been sick about the pre-production stuff or post-production stuff.
Oh yeah, man. No worries. It's been crazy fun though, for sure. So,
Hey, yo, Chandler, it's you're coming in really loudly.
let me turn down my mic.
That's okay. You don't have to. I got you.
Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. It's your turn. You're supposed to test, so I can test the audio.
Right. Test. Yeah, testing and stuff. Woohoo,
Okay.
Test.
Cool. Okay, you're coming in fine then. All right. Oh, we have a viewer. Well, hello there, viewer. It's you.
It's probably Scott.
Oh, it's probably Scott? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and take a look here. Sorry, I'm pulling up the chat for the live show that we're doing. So bear with me here. Oh, yep, it's Scott. It is Scott. Just going to pop out the chat here. What's the secret to making the perfect tri-tip? That's an excellent question, Scott. That is an excellent question indeed. I'm not going to lie. Tri-tip is a very special kind of meat just because of the way that it's cut. It's really good. Probably the best way to do it is to make sure that what you're seasoning it with. You never want to over season any sort of like good quality meat. That's kind of the biggest mistake a lot of people make. They want to dump a really good quality meat into like a very like spice enriched marinade or something like that. And in reality, what you really want to taste is like the natural beef. So you want to put stuff on it that kind of like brings more of that out. So you have things like, your salt, your cracked pepper. Never go with generic pepper if you're really wanting to, spend time with this meat and really treat it special. You want to use fresh cracked pepper. The salt, very, very, you don't want to like cake it in salt, but you do want to make sure that there's enough salt to really bring out the kind of earthiness of the meat. Definitely use some like nice, if you're definitely going to be putting it into a sort of a dry rub, you can do that, but you can also go ahead and, smoke it. Smoking tri-tip is probably the best way to cook it, hands down. But if you can't smoke it, then I definitely suggest grilling it and seasoning it with it. If you have it, Santa Maria seasoning, but that's hard to get. So if you can't get Santa Maria seasoning, then just go with, your classic salt and pepper, maybe some thyme or some scallions with that too. There's a lot of great ways to cook tri-tip meat. Just make sure that when you're cutting it's really important for tri-tip. You want to make sure that you cut it into long slices. You don't want to cube it or, you just want to make sure it's cut into long slices before you let the meat rest. And it's always important to let your meat rest. So, let's see, while I send this tweet out.
It's not opening up for me. It's weird.
Man, I'll tell you what, man. There's some hotness going on with this ARMS goodness. I'm so excited. So much good ARMSness. It'll launch today.
I have to take your word for it, man.
Looks so good. It looks so good, Chandler. I just want to play this ARMS game. You know what I mean?
I guess. I don't know what you mean. If it's
Chandler.
I don't understand the hype around it.
It's ARMS. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Do you see what I'm doing here?
No, I don't. I don't have it pulled up. Are you flipping me off? Is that what you're doing?
I was. Yes, indeed, I was.
It's like, man, it's so hard to predict what you're doing, because of course you would.
Yeah.
You would flip me off, Chandler.
Well, somebody has to.
I mean, that's true. That is very true. All right. Well, it's 7 o'clock, which was our original start time. Let's go ahead and get the ball running. We're going to go ahead and start the actual show now. If you're watching this archive, thank you so much for watching it live. If you're watching it live, thank you so much for watching it live. We really appreciate it. We're going to be talking about E3. That is the E3, basically this last week of just influx of game news, I mean, this is the biggest week of the year for gaming. At like as a whole, like there's different things that happen, events, conferences, PSX, PAXs, but in reality, the biggest thing that happens for us as a whole, as an industry, from amateur to experts, is this week of E3. It's this big united thing that we're all a part of, whether you're there live, whether you're watching live streams of conferences, whatever it is, it's an amazing experience. So we're going to go ahead and start the show. Chandler, I'm going to count down. Make sure to hit record on 1. And also, I'm hearing some feedback from my own voice coming through your headset. So
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Never mind. It doesn't sound like it's coming through anymore. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and count down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, what's going on? It is June 16th, 2017, and you're listening to episode 61 of the Knotty Gamers podcast. I am your host, Cameron Abbott, the unsexiest comedian that you know, and the man whose face is built for radio. And joining me is none other than I'd probably go ahead and say the Dave Lang to my Adam boys, Chandler Duggar. Chandler Duggar, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah, you are. Oh, you sweet, sweet, sexy boy. I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Oh, my gosh.
I've been through withdrawals, Chandler. I've been through my Chandler withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, it's hard. It's hard out here without you. I was sick last week, so I didn't get to see you.
That's true. You were sick.
Very sick. Like the post kind of funny plague got me hard, and I was just not able to recover until really I was like feeling pretty okay Tuesday evening. And then I went to work the next 3 days, and now I'm just like, oh. Right. It does not help. It does not help that I've been covering E3 extensively, and by that I mean I've been watching almost every E3, like scrap of E3 I could get. Gotcha. I was watching pre-shows, conferences, the whole shebang to bang, diddly doo wop, everything.
There you go.
I was so into it. And man, oh man, I got to give a quick shout out to Giant Bomb. Giant Bomb, everybody knows who Giant Bomb is. It's probably, at one point it was the biggest independent gaming, outlet out there. Now, of course, they're back with CBS. But I got to say, those guys over there really knew how to keep things going. They did some excellent watchovers. I was usually watching the kind of funny live streams, but the Giant Bomb ones were those I went back to afterwards and were just as entertaining as though I was watching it live. Same thing with Easy Allies. I really appreciated their take on what they were seeing. Overall, Chandler, did you watch any of the conferences?
I watched some of the conferences. I skipped through just for some information that I didn't really find relevant to me. So
fair enough. So you basically skipped left and right.
I didn't really watch any of them live. So
okay, you basically skipped through a bunch of Ubisofts then. All right.
Ubisoft wasn't one of the ones I watched.
Oh, okay. I thought. All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Watched Bethesda. I watched. What did I watch? I watched the Bethesda one. I know that one. I watched the PC gaming show. I watched. There's another one.
Well, that's fine. So, Chandler, We're going to go ahead and get things started right now. So I've been just, tell me, hey man, what's been going on?
Not a whole lot. Still doing school. I got so after this week, I have another week of this right now, my math class. And then after that, new classes for me. Other than that, just still playing Destiny.
Yeah, you're on that Destiny train hard.
I am. I've been playing it quite a bit. I definitely don't miss the whole grind, but they have. It seems that they're just like giving stuff away now though. I finally got like 3 of coins, and I've been using those.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like maybe every third or fourth time I've been using them, I've been getting an exotic engram. I mean, it's been pretty cool. And then what else have I been doing? Still playing around with some. I played Skyrim a little bit last week. I did a little bit this week as well.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that kind of got me into wanting to play Skyrim again was kind of watching the Bethesda conference a little bit. They talked about the Skyrim VR and the Fallout 4 VR, and I still don't know how I feel about those yet. Mainly because I don't have a VR, headset. So,
well, just as a heads up, it appears that Doom VFR is set for the Vive. I didn't see anything or hear anything about Sony coming out of that, but I did also hear that Skyrim VR is definitely coming to PlayStation VR. So,
okay, well, cool. So, let's see. Other than that, not a whole lot. Mostly just playing Destiny, doing some schoolwork. It's summertime, so being that I work at a school currently, I'm quote unquote unemployed at the moment, so I'm not really working. But yeah, that's about it for me.
yeah, that's awesome, dude. No, I think it's awesome that you and Scott really got back way more into Destiny. Once again, viewers, we are doing a live chat, and it appears there are 3 of you. Or Scott has somehow opened up 3 different YouTube windows in his home, which is not impossible for Scott to do. And I would not actually put it past him to say, hey, I need it set up because I might need to be in the kitchen and I might need to be in the bathroom and I might need to be on Mars because Scott could go anywhere. Love you, Scott. Big shout out I did want to give out. I was on 2 different podcasts this week. I was on the live Nintendo reactions for Irrational Passions. Came on there. That was a fun one that we did over with Alex O'Neill, Nato Johnson, who was still with him at the time, as well as Nabashin. So it was great to talk to those guys about some Nintendo goodness. And yeah, so if you guys wanted to check out our stream and comment, hey, we're going to be talking a lot about opinions here. So if you guys have any opinions yourselves about how wrong we are, this is payback for everybody whose stream I crashed in the chat and made very strong opinions that I demanded be answered. So vengeance shall be yours, I suppose. In the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and break into it. Also, the second podcast I was on was the OK Beastcast, their big E3 extravaganza episode they did. I had a great time with that. A picture got leaked from the stream of me wearing a clown nose. So you can understand that things got pretty wacky in there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Spoiler, I have the clown nose right now, so I'm not putting it on. I'm not wearing it. There's no reason. I'm not the guest, I'm the host.
Yeah.
This has always kind of been this is always like the partial flaw of me hosting the podcast is that I have to rein myself in.
It's true, I guess.
I mean, I don't think you would be able to host this podcast if I was going full Cameron,
No, I don't think so at all.
Yeah. It's a tough job. I've been on other people's podcasts and gone full Cameron. I did last night with Blessing's podcast, actually. It was a great time. I just want to thank Bless and Ian and all those guys that I met over at the OK Beast podcast. Great folks over there. The guests that they had on were a lot of cool guys that I got to talk to and, voice my opinions on what I saw. And, yeah. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. This is E3, right? Let's talk about some E3 news goodness. Just, those shout outs to the Kind of Funny and Easy Allies and Giant Bomb for their coverage. Those were the main people I got it from. I got some from IGN, of course, because that's the plethora right there, right? Mm-hmm. And big shout out to their Instagram coverage. They had some really cool. I've been trying to get more into Instagram, and so the Instagram coverage that I was seeing from IGN was pretty cool. Yeah. So like check that stuff out over on Instagram for IGN. And if you guys are thinking, oh, pimping out IGN, what sellouts? It's like they're not paying us.
That's true.
Trust both Chandler and I. We are very much a bare bones operation, and even then, this sort of stuff can get pretty pricey if you're from the outset. But we've really reined in on spending with the company and the massive amount of no money that we have.
Right.
So, if you want to, like, hey, hit us up at on contact@knottygamers.com if you want to do sponsorship. We'd be happy to. We will gladly take your money. We're two broke college kids. Anyway, yeah, we lost 2 viewers because we were pussyfooting around. So let's go ahead and hop back into I want to get those, those, what do you call them? Fair weather fans. I wanted them out of here. I want to talk to the hardcore of the hardcore.
To be fair, one of them was me because for some reason the screen's not pulling up the chat. So I had my phone open, but I realized it's only at like 30% battery. So
I see.
You're welcome. I'm just kidding.
I'm wondering if I could, because I have the chat popped open over here, if I'm the only one that's in the chat now. Like I'm the only person. I don't think so, because I think I'm the host, so I'm able to do that. If not, I'm the only person. This is like that first Twitch live stream I did where I was like, I love this one follower because, man, they're sticking by me. Like, they're really watching. Appreciate you. Turns out it was me the entire time.
Right.
Growing pains, that's not what you call it. I think that you call that being boring as fuck. All right. I forgot I'm trying not to swear on the podcast anymore because my parents won't listen to it. Whew. All right. Chandler, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, This is the E3 predictions results of the Knotty Gamers podcast. We are going to go through each of our predictions, and we are going to basically go ahead and agree on how we wanted to score each other. We both have to be in agreement of the score in order for it to count. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get things started with EA's press conference. Chandler, I predicted that Amy Hennig's Star Wars game will be announced. That did not happen. It did not happen. No points were awarded. Chandler, what was your first one?
Battlefront 2.
Would be there.
Yes.
That definitely awarded you a point.
Yes.
Next up for me, a new Battlefield content would be announced, either DLC or expansion. Chandler, there were both. A point, correct? Would you agree?
Correct.
Okay. For your next one, Chandler.
My next one was the Respawn Studios Star Wars, which was not there.
No points are awarded.
Correct.
Next up, my substitute prediction, because you took my Battlefront one. FIFA would be there. FIFA was there.
Correct.
However, where is Alex Ryda? You didn't watch that conference, I don't think, so I don't think you got that reference, but it's fine.
No.
The fans did. The audience did. Actually, there's nobody watching now, so no, nobody did. We are sad, Chandler. We are sad men. But that's fine, because you listeners are here. We know that you listen to this podcast more than you watch it, which is fair. So I'm going to go ahead and put away the Hangout screen so I can focus solely on what is in front of us.
Okay.
I'm not paying attention to that anymore. I'm closing the chat as well on my end. We're being real here, folks. We're being real. Actually, I realized I should probably keep the camera one up in case we suddenly go off the air. But I'm going to put it down here so I only see whether or not we're live or not. Chandler, what is your third EA prediction?
My third one was a sports games, but VR specific. So some type of VR sports.
I'm going to go to my
Somehow.
scorecard here. Chandler, I am willing to give you half a point because sports were there.
I'm gonna say no because my whole theme, besides like Star Wars, the stuff I absolutely knew was gonna be there. I thought there was gonna be a bigger push for VR, and so that's what I was banking on. So while I appreciate the half score, I'm gonna say no.
Very well. The final score for the EA press conference, Cameron 2, Chandler 1. Chandler,
Yes.
the Microsoft press conference, I predicted Scorpio would be unveiled.
Right.
Scorpio was unveiled.
Why are you doing this whole weird announcer voice thing?
Because it's the EA predictions, man. I'm trying to be special.
No, you don't need to do that. It's already over.
Fine. Yeah, so I had that the Scorpio would be unveiled.
Mm-hmm.
It was unveiled. Point?
Yep.
Point.
Absolutely.
All right. Your first prediction for the Microsoft conference.
Was Middle Earth Shadow of War.
Which was there.
Mm-hmm.
Point to Chandler. I said there would be new IP to show off Scorpio.
That's right.
And that is correct. There was. I'm trying to recall. Let me pull up my notes for. Let's see this here. Let me pull up my notes here for the Xbox E3 conference. All right, here we are. I'm trying to recall specifically which. Let's see here. Well, there was Ashen. There was the Anthem. Oh, no, Anthem. Anthem was a new IP that was shared there, but I was specifically speaking to a Microsoft one, which we did get with Ashen as well as there were a number of them here, but the last night was there. Let's see here. Yeah, so there were a couple of them, just more stuff about it. State of Decay 2 was shown off there as well, sequel, but also Super Lucky's Tale. So new IP confirmed. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Spectacular. All right. So that leaves us with what was your second prediction?
My second prediction was Crackdown 3.
Which was there.
It was there, although we didn't get a whole lot of information, but it was there.
There was a lot more information that came out after the conference. Some information about Crackdown 3. There was a lot of backlash when they said they were using cloud to do the destructive atmosphere. So it turns out the cloud will only be effective in multiplayer. So as destructive as the game is going to be in single player, unfortunately, it will not be as destructive as it can be in multiplayer. So there was some more information about that. Terry Crews will be playing a character in the game. So
yeah.
Next up is my third prediction. A new Gears content, either a new game or DLC would be announced. It was not.
Right.
Chandler, what was your third prediction?
My third prediction was we'd get some DLC, more content for Halo Wars 2, which was not.
Which was not there. So final score on the Microsoft conference for both Chandler and myself is 2. which brings my total up to 4 and Chandler's up to 3. Next up was Bethesda conference. Chandler, what was your first prediction for the Bethesda conference?
Horizon. Oh wait, no, that's Sony. I'm sorry. Quake Champions.
It was there.
Get more information on there. Yep.
You are awarded a point. I said a new Wolfenstein.
You did say that.
We not only that, but we were given it like a 9-minute trailer for it. And apparently on the showroom floor, or maybe it wasn't showroom, it might have been behind closed doors at Bethesda, was an actual, like, you played the first level.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you wake up wounded from the end of results of Wolfenstein: A New Order, and you are wounded. So you hop into a wheelchair, and you wheelchair around and kill people with a shotgun.
Right.
So you kill Nazis with a shotgun while wheeling around in a wheelchair.
Sounds pretty awesome.
Yep. Apparently it's like super immersive from the way that you're like, if you look around, you can see yourself like rolling yourself.
Oh, cool.
And if you go downstairs, you can't go back up them. You have to like be creative about going back up. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Your second prediction, Chandler, for the Bethesda conference.
My second one was more ESO online content.
We got that.
We did.
Now, let me go ahead and take a look here. Okay. For my third prediction, I said Evil Within 2 would be announced there. And boy, was it.
Yeah.
What an awesome trailer. Oh, sorry, no. We're talking second predictions. My second prediction was Elder Scrolls 6, which was not there.
Right.
And then I'll just go ahead. I already spoiled my third one, so I'll just say Evil Within 2 was there, and it was shown off, and it looked awesome. The trailer looked incredible.
Yeah, it really did.
So. All right, what was your third one, Chandler?
My third one was it was more of a general thing. I said Bethesda mobile games. So not necessarily expansions on Shelter, but more games, which wasn't really talked about other than I think they showed Shelter, like a clip of it, but it was just like, thanks for playing it. So
yeah, it's coming to the PC.
It's already on the PC.
Oh yeah, they talked about how it came to the PC. Yeah. My apologies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I cannot offer you points for that.
I wouldn't accept them anyway.
All right, moving on to so that ends Bethesda 2 apiece. So we are now at 6-5. Now for the Ubisoft conference. The Ubisoft conference, I do have to actually make a mention. So Bethesda's conference was only about 25 to 30 minutes long. Super short, super tight. Very well put together, very well kept tight. Had a beautiful intro package that was just adorable with their children. Really focused on how Bethesda is a studio of a family. Like it's a family studio. Which is something that I also felt is more conveyed also in the next conference that we're going to talk about, which is the Ubisoft conference. We'll talk about like my impressions of the conferences since I watched all of them later, but I felt the emphasis on devs in the Ubisoft conference really made up for some of its more lackluster moments. So my first prediction for the Ubisoft conference was there would be an info dump on Far Cry 5 and maybe even a demo on stage. There was all of that.
Right.
What was your first one for Ubisoft?
My first one was Assassin's Creed Origins, as we now know it. I did say Egypt, but yeah.
You said Egypt and Empire, and honestly, I give you either on that because those were the.
I don't think the official title was released yet, so
it hadn't been. Actually, it was released at the Microsoft because they did a demo there of it to show off the Scorpio.
Right.
Or sorry, what we now know as the Xbox. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So we did see, so we saw it there, but we did see like a bunch of new information about Assassin's Creed Origins there. So I will agree and award you points for that for sure.
PA points.
The second prediction that I had, which is probably one of the reasons why I was so distasteful towards Ubisoft's conference, like
Mhm.
I'll talk more about it during the conference when I talk about the conferences individually and how their performances were. But this really kind of perturbed me, and that was there was no new Division content announced. From that, I'm just feeling that the Division is a dead franchise to them.
Yeah.
What's unfortunate, though, is that this is the thing. I also thought there was going to be Rainbow Six Siege content announced there and all sorts of stuff, and just it wasn't. It's sad because these are really hardcore niche like game franchises that they're just passing over. I mean, there wasn't even Wildlands information announced, so that tells you how well that performed for them.
Right. Yeah.
Gonna go ahead and move on. What was your third prediction, Chandler?
Well, my second prediction.
Oh, sorry, your second prediction. My apologies.
Was more For Honor content.
Ooh, once again, that same kind of. It was not.
Yeah.
It was not. That's super unfortunate. Once again, we're talking about a franchise that I guess is underperforming, so they didn't announce anything for it.
Yeah. Well, I was interestingly enough, you know, you've kind of talked about these underperforming games or whatever. I guess For Honor has dropped like 97% of its player base.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane. So.
It's an almost unprecedented drop off in player activity for a multiplayer only game.
Yeah,
we're talking not even Titanfall 2, or I don't think that we've ever seen that much of a huge drop off. Just like without cause. Like there's cause for like the Division's player base dropping off because of all the errors and bugs and stuff. There's cause for Wildlands dropping off very much steadily just because it didn't like really do like blockbuster numbers when it came out. So when it comes to that, I would definitely say like you can expect those drop-offs, but For Honor's drop-off, For Honor had a great selling point. It came out right before Horizon Zero Dawn. It came out at the perfect time, I think, for it. But the fact that it wasn't able to like really hook in a strong, like larger player base is really sad. But I think that those 3% are definitely going to be your hardest core of the hardcore. It just sucks for how good of a game For Honor definitely was. So my number 3,
and then my third one.
Yeah, I'll go. No, shoot, go for it. What's your third prediction?
My third prediction was I wrote down Star Trek Bridge Crew, but I had a specific thing that I said for it, but I don't remember what it was.
No, you said Star Wars or Star Trek Bridge Crew for Sony.
No, I have it written down for Ubisoft because it's an Ubisoft.
It was with Ubisoft. Give me a second here to look at your text message that you sent me. Because for Ubisoft, I'm seeing... Oh, nope, never mind. You are correct. That one was up higher. Never mind. Yeah, Star Trek Bridge Crew, which was not there. And specifically, you even said new online... new VR content, not online content, but new VR content too.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's right.
But it wasn't there at all. And then South Park, The Fractured But Whole, that was my third prediction. And it was there. And I think they did it the right way with that, is that they didn't bring anybody on stage. They did a quick little thing for it, and then it was over. Just because I think that they knew better than to engender ill will towards their like very, very large delay, almost a year in delay. Because they've now delayed it back out to, I think they said it was August, and I don't know if they're going to hit that date even. Or it might have been October. I might be wrong on that. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with Sony, the Sony conference. The Sony conference, my first prediction was that Days Gone would be there, and boy, was it.
Oh, yeah.
What was your first prediction, Chandler?
My first prediction for the Sony conference was Horizon Zero Dawn DLC.
And it was there. Not only that, but it looks really cool.
Yeah. Frozen, what is it?
The Frozen North, I think is what it's called. But Don't quote me on that. What I can tell you though is that I'm pretty sure that is like Yosemite Park, because that those like that geyser that appears to be there in the game.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I'm very curious to see where it takes place. I would not be surprised if it took place up in like Montana and that area up there. So very cool stuff going on there. I'm really excited for it. My second prediction was God of War would be back. And boy, was it.
That was there. Yeah.
Man, I'm so pumped for God of War. Words that I would never expect to actually come out of my mouth. So, very excited for it. Or I think there were people online calling it Dad of War. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, there you go.
So what was your second prediction, Chandler?
Second prediction was Death Stranding.
Which was not there.
It was not there. And to be honest with you, back on this prediction now, I should have known better. I mean, the point that essentially, I don't want to mess up his name, so I'm not going to try to attempt it. But he essentially just barely, or last year, decided on which engine to use for his game.
Yeah, so everything else was
still in early development. Yeah.
Really early development. I wouldn't expect that game until 2020, 2021.
Right.
Sorry, I'm adding up. I forgot to add up scores from the Ubisoft conference, which brought me up to 8 and you up to 6. Yeah. Sorry, I was just doing that quick math there. So my third prediction, because you took the Spider-Man one, which I just spoiled your third prediction. My apologies. But my third prediction was Destiny 2. I thought they'd do an info dump. They did not. They had a trailer there, but it was a trailer we'd seen before. Actually, no, sorry. It was a new trailer. But I specifically said that we were going to get info. Like we were going to get somebody on stage to talk about Destiny. I didn't realize that they were going to do a repeat of last year.
Yeah.
Should have seen that coming.
Well, to be fair, they just had their huge event, a few weeks before that. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I really should have picked up on that. Anyway, so that ends Sony conference. Oh, yeah, and then your third one, which is what?
Which was Spider-Man.
Oh, man. Spider-Man looked so good. So good.
It does.
So that leaves us with, let's see, what was this? Okay. So that's going to be. All right, next up is Nintendo. Let me see here. So Nintendo, my first prediction was that we'd see Mario Odyssey, which we did. And it looks awesome. Did you see the trailers for it?
Is that the one where he throws his hat on things and people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw some clips of it and stuff, so looked kind of interesting.
Yep. Let's see here. Your first one was the Nintendo. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The Switch online services,
which was not there. Next up, I said the new Square Enix franchise Octopath Traveler, which is still the dumbest named video game of all time, was not there. And what was your second one, Chandler?
I said more Switch accessories.
Which was not
anything for Nintendo.
And then my next one was that there would be more info on Fire Emblem Warriors. Oh, wait, we only stopped at 2, didn't we? Because you didn't have a third one. Is that right?
Or did you have told the third one, but I only have 2.
Yeah, so we'll only count those 2. So Chandler, the final score is 11-9. In my favor. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that, my friendship with Chandler is based on a combination of love and respect and understanding that we're almost family with how close we are. On occasions, we have talked about how Chandler accidentally saw my penis, which tells you just how close of friends we are. So what I'm about to say really comes from the heart. I won. Suck it. You lost. Yeah.
Tell him what you won, Cameron.
I didn't win anything. We didn't have.
Yeah, that's right.
And what I did win, though, I now get to do the rest of this podcast with a clown nose on. That's what I won.
I'm out of here. I'm ending this podcast.
I'll stop. Honka honka. I'll stop. All right. I won, and you know for a fact that if we were not cleaning up the content of this podcast, much worse things would have been said. There would have been talks about certain things, and like entering other thing. Anyway, we're cleaning up this podcast. We're going higher level here. All right, higher level. Anyway, I want to talk to you, Chandler, about so you didn't watch all the conferences as we covered.
No.
This baby boy did. This big baby boy did. And this big baby boy is, I went ahead and I watched all the conferences. So I just want to break down how I felt about each conference. I do want to say overall, I really was impressed by how each conference seemed to have learned from last year. The way Sony did their conference last year, the way Microsoft did their conference last year, there really was an emphasis on this is the new way we're doing conferences at E3, which is keeping things tight. We're keeping things together. We are it's very much, this is not a 3-hour press conference. We are doing this. This is not a performance up here. We're not going to have musical guests come in. We're not going to have celebrities come in. It's really much straight to the point. We're talking to the gamers because that's what matters. They're talking to their consumers and they're talking to the businesses. They're not there to wow businesses. Businesses already know that this is a hardcore time for gamers. And that's what they really need to hit on. And I respect them a lot for that. And I say this with the utmost respect. EA is the only one that didn't seem to learn a damn thing. Their press conference was long, and they included in that press conference a half an hour of Battlefront 2 content. Like just a chunk of the game just being played through. And it was really cool for the first 10 minutes. At which point I just was like, okay, I'm just watching other people play a game that I really want to play. It went on for too long. There was a lot of, let's go ahead and have this person come out and this person come out and this person come out. We're going to talk about all this stuff. And then it's like, okay. And then John Boyega came up on screen. It's like, oh, cool. John Boyega. All right, my dude. And then they had the nice lady whose name I'm forgetting, which I shouldn't because I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't find it because I wanted to make sure to give her a shout out. She's a big, cool, she's very cool person. She was actually on the Giant Bomb cast for one of their night casts, Giant Bomb at night, the live stream that they do where they have people just come and sit down on a couch and talk. She was dressed in this beautiful dress, this beautiful, gorgeous gown. And she was just lovely. She was a lovely person, very excited about video. She's very much, you can tell she's a hardcore, true gamer. And it was awesome just to see that, just that glow that she had about talking about how cool it was to be part of Star Wars and how much of a big, giant, nerd she is. She's a giant nerd, Chandler. Giant nerd. And yeah, I just thought it was fantastic to see her do that. Outside of that, EA, it had a conference, but very much we have Star Wars. We have Battlefield. We have there was actually some really cool stuff being put out there, but then it got kind of drawn out. I will say this is probably one of the most interesting things to come out of there is that Madden has a story mode this year. Very much similar to
a really long time, right?
They've never had a story mode, not really. They've had a create a player mode
on some of the earlier ones.
No. There's not a story attached to them. It's very much like you could create a player and like have that player rise through ranks, so like a career mode. But it was a career mode. It wasn't like a storyline to it.
Gotcha.
This is you play as a person and it's pretty interesting. They're expanding on that idea they had last year for FIFA that was received pretty well, from what I understand. FIFA's FIFA, so it sells anyway. And Madden's Madden, but it's cool that they're exploring the idea of like a story-driven content. And I think that's an important thing to note that EA is bringing to the table. I just wish they would have kept their conference tighter. Next up is Microsoft. Microsoft did probably one of the hardest things to do in this day and age, which is tell people how good something looks when they're watching it on 720 to 1080p streams.
Right.
They are so like they wanted to talk about how great everything looked and they had all these like big 4K LED stuff going on there, but they knew for the people at home they weren't seeing that, and I think they catered like they walked the line, and there were points where they definitely fell off. But they did a really great job of unveiling this new system. This system is the smallest Xbox they've ever made. It has vapor cooling. It has some good, solid like pieces of hardware in it, and I'm really impressed by that. I wish it was modular, just like I think we all did. But when I looked it over, somebody like priced it out for the kind of parts that were in the Xbox. And I went and double checked a few things, but yeah, like if this was modular, it would be like $700 to $900 PC. And they've like, because they aren't making it modular, they're also, I'm sure they're taking money, like they're losing money on it because of course you always lose money on the hardware. You always lose money on the hardware because you make it back with the software. And it was really cool to see the box because the box is so tight. It's so slim. It's so beautiful. It's this beautiful, beautiful box. And what's great is they've gotten forever rid of. It's like they finally, just like somebody in Microsoft is just like, if I have to see the term X bone one more time, I'm going to lose it.
Right.
And so I love that they have now turned it into the Xbox, because it literally is the Xbox One X. Literally the acronym is Xbox. This is the Xbox now. And I think that's really cool. They basically said the Xbox One S. And what I realized is that Microsoft, with what they've been doing recently, is that they've been tiering their customer base. Microsoft has their Xbox systems using a much like watered down version of Windows 10. They've they've introduced Xbox Live to be the way that you play like Microsoft Live games online now is through Xbox Live, period. Like that is the backbone that they're using for all their online services. And we know from experience Xbox Live is super reliable. Like it doesn't have the problems that PSN and other programs have. Mainly because you can change your damn name. But you have I watched Phil Spencer. He was doing a very, very cordial, very like laid back interview with Jeff Gerstmann on their Giant Bomb at Night after his conference, and he was just talking. He was in an OG Xbox shirt and just jeans and like just shoes, and he was just chilling. You know, he was just laid back talking about just like, yeah, I like this was a really cool project that we were working on. It was really cool, and talking about how awesome it was. Man, I'm blanking on it, but I think there was something else that they were talking about. It was like the new technology for the future. I think that was Microsoft. It might have been. Yeah, I think that was Microsoft where they're like, we got a team, and this is the team that I talk to every day, and they're working on stuff from the future, man. I think that was in Microsoft's conference, and it wasn't cool. It just wasn't impressive. It's like, okay, you didn't have anything to show us. You just want to tell us about this team? I don't care. Like, that's not something you put in a conference. You're not showing something. Show, don't tell. That is the rule. That is the best rule to live by for these things, which is to show and not tell, which is why 4K really doesn't work for press conferences.
Yeah.
But then again, you look back, and this is the thing. We're at a time now where everybody wants to be shown something. When HD TVs were coming out, and they're like the 1080p is like this awesome thing, that was in magazines. We were reading that. We were reading it in online reviews. We weren't watching videos of it. And so there wasn't an expectation of beauty to come from it. We got the expectation of beauty from what we were reading in our imagination. And to see something suddenly in high def was stunning for the first time. Everybody has that first high definition experience. And it's phenomenal. But so, this is the problem 4K has, is that it's an uphill battle for them. And I think, though, they walked the line pretty well. I will say, if you are a PC gamer, this presentation was lit. Dude, if you play PC games, this was legit because there was so much stuff that they're like, it's Xbox console exclusive, which means it's for the Windows software, which means we get to play out on Windows 10. And that, everybody, is what is legit. That is what I'm talking about, their tiered system, their tiered structure. Xbox One S costs you $250, gets you right in. You got a 4K TV, cool. You don't, cool. It still will make your 1080p games look great. You want to go higher than that? You want to go ahead and drop 500 bones on the Xbox One X, the Xbox box? You get that thing, it's tinier, it's slimmer, it's vapor cooled, it's legitimate. Pure legit. And you're like, I love my Xbox, but I want more power out of it. What should I do? What is the answer to that, Chandler? If you want more power out of your new Xbox?
PC gaming.
That's it. Well, what about, oh man, I don't want to have to lose all my games that I have that I've gotten from Xbox. You don't. Yeah. They're cross-buy. You bought Gears of War 4, guess what? That's cross-buy. You can play it on your PC. It is brilliant. It is a brilliant maneuver to say, we're not, and that's the best part. This wasn't the Xbox conference. I think they changed it last year. They changed it to the Microsoft briefing. This is about Microsoft. And everybody's so focused on the box, they're not realizing the bigger picture, which is this is the next step. They're bringing you in. They're saying, we know your console, but when you're ready for it, get ready to step up to where the big boys are playing over on PC.
Right.
You get into PC, all of a sudden you get Steam. On a lesser note, you get Origin. Herp. But you have you have your Microsoft game library. Not only that, but are you ready for backwards compatibility like you've never seen it before? Not just with 360 games, but now with original Xbox games? Man, they're nailing it, Chandler. They're nailing it. Not only that, but they're going to be up-resing. They're going to be doing better graphics on your original Xbox games. And if you still have the discs, that's your license. They didn't announce it there, but in a post-show, they said if you own an Xbox disc, that's your ticket.
There you go.
You put that in the Xbox, and all of a sudden you download it. And it's yes, that's so brilliant. Remember when they said when the Xbox One first was announced, and they're like, it's $4.99 with the Kinect, and they announced, and they're like, and you'll have this shared account, and you won't have discs anymore. And you'll have it, and it's all, and basically they're saying we're going to lock you into a bunch of DRM. Yeah. Because that's how the message came off. This is how that message should have come off 4 years ago, 5 years ago, however long it was that they announced the Xbox One. This is the message they should have had. We're not just stripping you, this isn't DRM. We are opening up your library. You put the disc in, that's it. It's on your Xbox now. It's tied to your Microsoft account. The way they presented this was so much better, and it works so well. The idea is so cool, and I love it. I love it. And so there was certain messages out of that, and I think the excitement of this, I'm realizing the bigger picture for Microsoft now. I'm seeing the bigger picture for them is really cool, and I hope that it's the bigger picture for them because once again, we're amateurs. But if this is in fact the big picture for them, we are looking at a brilliant strategy that will come for years. Phil Spencer was talking about how on Giant Bomb at Night, he was talking about, he's like, he's like, I can't wait for Minecraft to be on the Switch to because when it's on the Switch, it's going to connect to Xbox Live. When you're connecting to servers for crossplay, you're going to be able to play with PC gamers and Xbox gamers. That is huge. They're like, yeah, Nintendo, it has a server. The servers are Xbox Live servers. And
Right.
if you're on a Switch, you can play with your friends that are on PC or on Xbox. Like, that's huge. And Jeff Gerstmann asked him, he's like, well, what about this whole, like, they don't want to, like, let Xbox tap into Sony because it won't be safe for their players. And Phil Spencer just kind of like, that was like he's like, I'm not going to, like, he didn't throw shade. He just said, for them to assert that, like, we're not careful about security, that's not our number one priority. Like, he's like, that's just not true. And I like, you can see him because he actually says, he goes, it looks like I'm going to be jumping on another grenade here. Like, Phil Spencer is just like one of the coolest dudes. And I just want Phil Spencer and Shuhei Yoshida just to like live together as roommates. I want that in my life. I want that sitcom. I want to see what it's like for Shuhei Yoshida, Phil Spencer, and Miyamoto. I want the three of them living in the same house.
There you go. To be fair though, from the whole crossplay thing and Sony not being a part of that, I can understand the concerns that they have. And while some people say, yeah, well, that excuse about security is just bull, or
it's not. There's other things to it, I think, as well.
Well, that, yes, absolutely. But I mean, it's still a legitimate concern when customer security is important to essentially your revenue stream. Mm-hmm. You don't want to have that aspect be in somebody else's hands.
I get that. And I understand that too. And I think when they talk about security, instead of saying Microsoft security, they probably should have said their own security. Because Microsoft didn't have the massive leak that brought down their online system for like 6 months. Sony had, back during the PS3 era, they had the big Sony problem. This is before I bought my PS3. And it was massive. The PSN outage was traumatic for Sony. The PSN outage ruined an entire slate of beginning of the year games. The new SOCOM came out, and everybody's like, this game probably would be great if you could play it.
Right.
You can't play it because you can't access the PSN. Like, it crippled so many games. It crippled their system. It was a PR nightmare, unlike that we've ever seen in video games. It was a massive nightmare, the fact that this happened, that it was like there was such a vulnerability in the PlayStation Network that was just exploited to like that nth of a degree. It's horrifying. So I look at that and I say, that's why they're not okay with it. But if that's why you're not okay with it, you should be honest about that. Like, if you're talking about you're worried about security, be honest, because and just say, listen, we had a really bad run-in with with our security in the past, and we need to make sure that at 100% we can say with absolute surety our stuff is safe. And the only way we can do that is by keeping our people safe. Right. And I think when we brought this up, because it was a news story at one point, we did mention this. Like, this is months upon months ago. But like, this is what we were talking about with like Rocket League. Like, why Rocket League, the fact that I'm surprised that, I mean, Rocket League's something interesting because you can cross play with Rocket League. But you have to do it in a very unique and specific way. And it's super weird. Because it's not like you can join a lobby or join a game. You have to do a search for it. Like, it's a very specific way that you do it. And I've done it before, and it's fun. But the reality is that I was really hoping that would be like a backdoor way of doing it. But then you also have other issues. The Sony systems, Minecraft, is probably not using the same sound files. We know that Sony has a proprietary sound file that causes a large amount of problems with any kind of like mod, like the Bethesda mods. The Bethesda said, we're having a big problem with the mods because we want to integrate we want to let people convert their sound files to the Sony proprietary sound files, and that's causing a kerfuffle. And it took a long time for them to negotiate that, man. Like, traumatically, it took time. We used to talk about how excited we were for it when Fallout 4 was around, and we were like, yeah, it's going to be so exciting. And then it's like, it's taking forever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to talk about, I know I talked about Xbox a lot here. I don't even know if I'm going to buy an Xbox One X because I have a PC, and I might just put that money, $500 for my PC parts goes a long way,
Yeah, absolutely.
So next I want to talk about Bethesda. Bethesda, I had notes here. I watched Bethesda conference all the way to the end, which ended around 10 p.m. And then I watched like a ton of after show stuff. By the time I was ready to actually do like my reaction to it, the recorded reaction that I put up on our YouTube channel, I wrote notes for myself. It said great tight conference. In which case I found a man, sometimes like tired me, like late night me, is like the worst version of me. like late night, like 3 a.m. me is like the biggest jerk in the world. Hands down, giant D-bag. I am awful. Like I'm not gonna take care of this. I'll take care of it tomorrow. That's future Cameron's problem. And it's like, why? Anyway, so Bethesda's conference, I just thought it was tight. I thought it was great. They kept it short. They're like, we have like 2 things to announce, 3 things to announce maybe. Wolfenstein we're announcing. We're talking about, Evil Within 2 we're announcing. That's about it. Everything at Morrowind we're going to talk. They announced Morrowind already, but they were talking about it more this time, more in depth about it. As far as like what the trailer was telling, they did a really cool trailer. They kept it tight. I saw people. Trevor Starkey, for example, was at E3, and he went through Bethesda Land. They had a little theme park that they had going on at E3, and it was awesome. It looked terrific. You can check out your favorite media influencer if they were at E3 and they went to the Bethesda conference, because I guarantee you they spent time in Bethesda Land. Place looked cool. But yeah, I just thought it was a tight conference, really great. I already talked about Wolfenstein and like what we heard coming afterwards. I will say this though, the VR games, Skyrim VR plays like you probably expect a Skyrim VR to play like. Doom VR, however, is a little more interesting, I think. Doom VFR, because you know what the F stands for, because it's Doom. They have this cool thing where like they have the teleporting way that they're doing it. The whole teleporting way that you're going about playing Doom this way. Yeah. That makes it very interesting, and I'm curious to see how it turns out, because it got like I heard some people talk that it said it was great. Some people didn't feel that way about it. Some people weren't too hot on it. But I'm curious to see how it comes out. It was being played on the Vive at Bethesda, so I don't know if it's coming out to PlayStation VR, and I don't know if it could come out to PlayStation VR, depending on how powerful they made that operating system on it. So, or not operating system, but how depending on how the game works, it might not be able to work with Sony's PlayStation VR.
Right.
We'll see though. Next up is Ubisoft's conference. Man, Ubisoft's conference. Are we
going to not talk about Creation Club?
Oh, the paid mod things?
Again?
I mean, it's with credits, and we don't even know how the credit thing is working. They've released so little information on it.
I guess that's fair enough, but
we don't know how credits are earned. Credits could be an entirely
not earned. It's a microtransaction. You purchase them.
From what I understood at the E3's conference, they were not talking about purchasing credits. Nobody said anything about purchasing.
It shows it on the screen that they showed for it. It says purchase credits.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
I'll shut up about that. Nope, so you can purchase credits. It's paid mods all over again, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, I mean, I get that they want to support their mod community, but I don't know if this is the right way to go about it. In fact, we've talked about this before. It's not the right way to go about it, because the modders don't want it to happen that way. I don't know. We'll see about Creation Club. I didn't think Creation Club was that important, because we just didn't have that much information about it. They're being very careful about talking about it.
They just kind of threw it in there and then moved on.
Legitimately, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
We know how important modding is to Bethesda games. We know how important they feel, like how strongly they feel about supporting modders. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. It's tough to say. That's why I didn't want to cover it.
Fair enough.
So let's go ahead and talk about Ubisoft. Ubisoft had this is the problem with Ubisoft, and I feel like EA also has this issue, where their portfolio of games is so wide, like they cover so many different kinds of games, that there's going to be natural lulls in the conference for you. However, I did not experience the kind of drop in the stomach that I ever experienced with every moment of gameplay from Skull and Bones. I saw the trailer. I was like, yes. They're like, you get these different types of ships and you can customize them. I'm like, yeah. And and then you engage in a 5v5 multiplayer arena combat. And it's like, no.
Right?
No, that's not what I wanted. When you go ahead and board another ship, it's it's a probability on whether or not you'll win. It's like, no. This is not what I wanted. You get a little short cutscene of your dudes boarding the other ship. It's like, no, this is not what we wanted. Like, I've never seen so much promise in a product slip out like that. I've never been so excited for a game to suddenly become horrified that it exists.
Right.
Like, bad. It's bad, ladies and gentlemen. It looks bad because it's just another 5v5 multiplayer game. It's another MVM or a PvP. It's just another PvP game from them. That's all it is. Ugh. Like, you have enough of those. And your last one didn't sold well, but its player base has fallen off by 90%.
Mm-hmm.
It's not smart, guys. And then you have like a 10-minute, like a 5 to 6 minute gameplay presentation of it on how it works. And it doesn't work, like it doesn't look cool. This game isn't good. It's not going to be good. Why, Ubisoft? Why? Like, the dude was super passionate about it, and I felt this passion for it. And when he first started talking about it, I was like, yeah, I'm on board with you, man. I'm here with you. And then he shows us what it is, and it's like, dude, I am no longer with you on this. You have gone to a place that I cannot go to. It's like that person that you're like, man, I think we're going to be really good friends. And then he's like, man, I really hate Jewish people. It's like, oh, no, this is not working out. This is not going to work. It's like, man, this guy seems like a cool guy. And he goes, yeah, check out my tattoo. And it's a swastika. And you're like, dang, I can't be friends with you.
Right.
It's like, it turns out in this brief moment that we've known each other, you were racist all along. Or in this case, you've been a terrible game all along. I'm not saying terrible games are the same as racists or Nazis. I'm not. I'm just saying these things are all bad. The degree in which they are bad is varying. But bad games are bad games, man. And this does not look like a good game. It had a cool name, Chandler. It had a great trailer. It had a great, like, the beginning part of that presentation was so cool. How did they lose everybody so fast?
I don't know.
They lost everybody so quickly. It's almost disheartening. No, it's not almost. It is disheartening.
It is.
Oh, man. Apparently there was a demo at E3, like on the show floor for South Park, The Fractured Butthole, where apparently you go into a strip club.
Wow.
Yep. This game is going there, ladies and gentlemen. If you thought anal probing in the butt on a spaceship was like, man, that's pretty far, or maybe the abortion clinic where you give a fake abortion to Randy Marsh, or where you fight a giant undead fetus. Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't seen nothing yet from what I've been hearing. I've been hearing stuff from people like Trevor and a few other people who got in to play the game. And, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Funny enough, I know a guy who does PR for that game. Yusef, shout out if you're listening. You probably aren't because you're busy, like, PRing great games. But I love you, man. He's an awesome dude. Love him a lot. I've known him over Twitter before, but I got to meet him at Kinda Funny Live, and it was just an awesome experience. He's such a cool guy. Such a cool guy.
Nice.
Next up, and buff too. Oh my gosh, he's so handsome. He's such a handsome man, and he's so buff. He plays rugby, Chandler. He's so strong. My gosh. He's like this perfect, like bronze statue of a man. gorgeous. Oh, such a handsome man. Anyway, moving on to Ubisoft. We're in Ubisoft. What am I saying? Yeah, like the presentation was, it had its dips and like its highs and its lows, and people are gonna be like, I can't believe you're not talking about Beyond Good and Evil 2. And it's like, I'll talk about Beyond Good and Evil 2 when it's an actual game, and not another announcement trailer.
Right.
They gave you another announcement trailer. The Kaz Hirai parody account tweeted out, we announced and released The Last Guardian within the same time that it's taken them to put out these 2 announcement trailers for Beyond Good and Evil 2. 9 years that it's taken them to do this. 9 years. And they're still in pre-production. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not going to be a game we may ever see.
Right.
And if it is, we're not seeing it for years. People are like, man, I really wonder when that game's going to come out. It's like, I wonder too, because I'm wondering whether it'll come out at all. So a little bit different kind of a wondering there. But yeah, no, I mean, that was that. Oh man. So everybody's like, I'm so hyped for that trailer. It's like, that trailer looked great until I realized this is Beyond Good and Evil 2, and this was already announced. And they're still, like, they were just showing off concept art. It was so bad. Now, I do want to end talking about the Ubisoft conference on one note, and that is Ubisoft had their developers come out. Also, we should probably talk about a game that we didn't talk about, either of us, because it was already, like, leaked way beforehand. Mario plus Rabbids. Chandler, did you see any of this gameplay that they did?
I did a little bit. It's kind of this weird, like, XCOM game.
It's a Mario plus Rabbids XCOM RPG, Chandler.
Yeah.
The hell does that game look so good? Like, how can this concept look good to anybody? But it's like, it does. You got that thick peach. I was like, okay, I'm down with thick peach. And then all of a sudden she gets taken like by vines and tentacles. And it's like, no, I didn't want this. No, stop it. And then she takes a selfie and it's like, I don't want to know what happens after. I'm scared. They are definitely taking these creatures and the Rabbids and Mario and Luigi and Peach and Yoshi to air places I don't think we're prepared to see them go, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think anybody can be prepared for what we're about to see in Mario plus Rabbids. But I will say this. Shout out to Miyamoto for showing up to that stage, coming out, posing with the gun, and then saying, hey, I want to take a second to talk about the developer. Everybody's like talking about the developer, the designer, the head of the game on it in production. They're talking about it. It's like, he's so passionate about his game, he's crying. It's like, no, he's crying because Miyamoto's talking about him.
Yeah.
This guy was just like, hi, I'm standing up because they asked me to. And then Miyamoto's talking about all these amazing things that he observed from this guy. And then the translator starts speaking, and all of a sudden the dude starts crying. It's like, it's not about his game, ladies and gentlemen. It's literally about the fact that his idol is praising him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe about his game. Probably about his game a lot. Like, it's a game that he made with Mario. And Miyamoto's praising him for his creative direction on it. That's a huge honor. That is an amazing honor for that young man. And I say young man because I don't know, he looks around our age. So props to that dude. He was there. It was admirable. It was awesome. Miyamoto basically said, I told him when he asked me for advice, do something that like nobody's ever seen with Mario before. And ladies and gentlemen, he succeeded. He succeeded wonderfully, it looks like. This is a game I didn't know I needed, but now I need it for the Switch, Chandler. I have another game that I need to play on the Switch.
There you go.
I wanted to move on from Ubisoft. If I forgot anything, I apologize, but I'm not really apologizing because, oh yeah, I did want to talk about one last thing on it though. This had a lot of heartfelt moments where at the very end, they brought the devs up for all the games that were announced. They brought all the devs up, the PR team, everybody up on stage. This is something that I think is happening because I think Vivendi is closing in. The real question that we're going to have after Ubisoft's press conference this year is, will there be one next year?
Mm-hmm.
Or if they do one next year, they're going to come out and they're going to talk about all these new games they have on mobile. Like, I really like Ubisoft as a studio. I like them a lot as people. I like them a lot as developers. I think that they've done a lot of great stuff. They've definitely put out some really great games. When they decided, you know what, we're going to take a risk and not put out an Assassin's Creed this year. And they didn't. For 1 year, we didn't have an Assassin's Creed. And they said, we're going to put everybody in this development cycle for this new one to make it a really great game. And I don't know if Origins is going to be a great game or not, but I really hope it does because I really want it to pay off. I don't want Ubisoft to be bought up by Vivendi, but at the same time, I don't know if they can stop them.
Right.
Vivendi has all the money. Vivendi has they're buying up shares left and right as soon as they become available. They're giving lucrative amounts of money to people to sell their shares to them. I don't think there's any fair weather employees at Ubisoft anymore. At least any with stock options.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is I think we may be seeing the last time we ever see it just being Ubisoft.
Yeah, that's...
Now for the wacky fun times! I put the clown nose back on, audio listeners.
You bastard. Sorry, I mean, you jerkhole.
Just 1 second. Welcome to the circus of value! BioShock reference. Bang, bang. Anyway. That wasn't a good impression. Normally, I think my regular voice for that is better. Anyway. Let's move on to Sony's conference. Sony had a conference. This is something I want to say. Sony did something called the pre-show. The Sony pre-show, Chandler, had amazing games out there. Holy crap, Chandler. Amazing games were shown. I'm talking about, like, you got some amazing games that got shown there. Everything from Final Fantasy NT or Final Fantasy Dissidia NT, which is the first iteration of the old handheld fighting game franchise being brought to PS4, brought to console. You had stuff like Undertale was announced there. Undertale, this is something that people have been waiting forever to have on PS4, and it's coming to PS Vita. Like, they tagged that on at the end, and coming to Vita, because they've been promising Vita, and they finally gave it. Like, they're giving it to us. It's like, thank you. And not only that, but you have, you have a really cool slow, just honestly, go watch the pre-show, because honestly, the pre-show, if you take the pre-show and the actual show and said that's one conference, that's one presentational conference, that is the best conference coming out of E3. Hands down. It was amazing. Because they didn't have the pre-show stuff in the actual show, it hurt it a lot. Because a lot of the stuff shown at the Sony conference was stuff that we saw where we have announced dates coming beginning of 2018. A lot of games are coming out early 2018, Chandler. A lot of games from Sony, and I don't see that happening. I see some delays in the future, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting the DLC for both Uncharted and Horizon Zero Dawn this year, later in the fall for both of those. You have, those were both shown during the proper conference, which I thought was terrific. Selling people, if people love the Uncharted series, it definitely sells you for what they have going on with this DLC, even though it doesn't have Nathan Drake in it. I think that's really important that it doesn't have it there. Definitely focusing on these. Yep, Claudia Black, which I know you are a massive fan of.
A massive fan of Claudia Black.
I think I should be on. You are a massive fanboy of Claudia Black. Is there anything she's done that you haven't watched or played?
Maybe.
If there is, you don't know about it. That's the truth.
Right.
Oh man, you're dumb like Farscape. Dang, that show. You were so into that show.
It's a great show. I love it.
Anyway, moving on to overall it was a pretty good conference. I did want to talk a little bit about Days Gone because there's stuff that came out of the show floor that I think shows that there's going to be a lot more dynamic attributes to the world. In the trailer, they showed you getting clotheslined because you're being chased by wolves. But if it's in the winter and snow's on the ground, the wolves weren't there. So you were able to see, so you're able to keep driving off the road, the main road, and you saw the trap as well as the guys that were there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really cool. Also, the detective mode, there's like people press the pause menu, dude. There are skill trees on skill trees on skill trees. There is a lot of stuff to unlock in this game. There's a lot of depth to, I think, the mechanics and the controls to it, as well as the way that you take on certain enemies. People using the zombie horde as like a weapon.
Right. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like that they're basically saying like this is a new type of zombie, so don't expect it to act like the former type of zombie. And not only that, but the infection that affected humans is also infected animals. You saw at the end of the trailer the bear. The infected bear looks horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Super into that. I just think it's fantastic. I think you have a lot of cool stuff coming out of there with Days Gone. I'm curious, and somebody tweeted out, it was Nick Robinson from Polygon. He tweeted out, he's like, if anybody is actually interested in the main character for Days Gone, can you please tell me why? It's like, oh, I get it. You're being a snarky, news journalist or gaming journalist, but okay, I'll tell you why. Because I want to see this guy who's clearly was on the rougher side of the law. What happens to him after the zombie apocalypse? When the world ends, I want to know what happens to this guy who was a 1%er. For anybody who out there who doesn't know, the Motorcycle Association of America, I think is what it's called, but it's basically the big lobbying group for motorcycle clubs. They came out with a statistic years ago that said 99% of all motorcycle clubs are law-abiding citizens, and the remaining 1% are outlaws. It's become a tagline, calling yourself a 1%er, or having people call you a 1%er. Means that you're an outlaw. It means you exist outside of, not just outside of the law, but that you're involved in gun running, drugs, human trafficking, all sorts of nasty, nasty stuff. So when this guy is clearly, he was in a motorcycle club before the fall of the world, means that he was on that rougher side of life. I'm curious to see what about this guy is actually worth caring about. I want to see how they make me care about this guy, because I've already cared about a middle-aged dad who just wanted to do right by his kid. What happens to him in the zombie apocalypse? And I saw that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's The Last of Us. I thought The Last of Us was fantastic. It's a near, if not perfect game. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's a near perfect game. I have problems with that stealth and that stealth mechanics in that game. Ho dog, do I have problems with it?
Fair enough.
But it's a near perfect game. Also begs the question, is there a perfect game? Anyway, we're not going to get into that. I would score it like a 10 out of 10 or a 5 out of 5, like 5 stars out of 5 stars. I would do that. Because even though it's not a perfect game, it's near perfect as you're going to get. So I've seen that happen with Joel. Joel from The Last of Us, we saw what happened to him. We saw what happened to a good man when the world goes bad. I want to see what happens to a guy who may be a bad guy, or he may be like a not so great guy. I want to see what happens to him when the world goes bad. I want to see what his story is going to be. Because I'm tired of zombie games where zombie movies or zombie comics where you're looking through the lens of a middle blue collar, like working class guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen that enough. I've seen Rick Grimes do it. I've seen, I've seen all these people do it, and like they're just your average dudes who are doing it. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching or listening to this, I want to see what it's like when a guy who wasn't maybe on the right side of the law went through the zombie apocalypse. I want to see what happens at the end of the world for a guy like this. Because so far, he's just bounty hunting. Like, that's his job. He's a bounty hunter. Does that mean, and if there's a bounty hunting system going on in this world, does that mean that there's some sort of form of civilization? What does that mean that he's a bounty hunter? What does that mean that he's, like, gunning for a guy that he was going to bring back dead or alive? What does that mean? I want to know what that means. I want to know what this world is like, because this world, which has bounty hunters and you're playing one of them, sounds interesting to me. Not only that, but he's a former motorcycle club guy. There's parts of the trailer that we saw where he's, riding around on his motorcycle with his, what clears to be a woman who's important to him, probably a romantic interest, who's like riding on the back of his motorcycle. There's mechanics where like they said in the game, they said in the show floor, or in the back or behind doors, I'm not sure which, or if they did it in both places or just behind doors, behind closed doors. Sorry. That the motorcycle is a character. You upgrade it. You give it upgrades so that you can go farther without having to like stop for gas.
Right.
Something as simple as that, as something you can fully customize this bike, because it's that important to the character. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with that. I want to see more of this game, and I want to play it, and I'm okay waiting for it. I'm not angry that they didn't have a release date. They just announced it last year at PSX. Not this past PSX, but the one before it. Like, we barely have anything about it. We've gotten more information about, Horizon Zero Dawn than we have that. I think this is the next one, and then the following after that we'll probably have... Oh, no, we have God of War coming out before that. God of War's coming out early 2018. So, I'm curious. I'm curious to see what we get from it. I want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
Oh, gosh. I knew this was coming.
Anyway, moving on. So I thought the Sony conference was pretty good that way. Disappointed that there wasn't more games there. Disappointed that if you're really going to have Destiny there, it's like, okay, I guess. But they did have a pretty cool trailer where they did a full reveal of the bad guy. He's that big white turtle-looking dude. I forgot what the race's name is off the top of my head because it's been that long since I played Destiny. I almost call them the Cabal. That's what they are, the Cabal. I almost called them the Crucible, and I'm like, that's not right. But they're the Cabal.
No.
So the new Cabal enemy, the head Cabal enemy, looks really cool, and I can't wait to kill him in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Oh, something that people were noticing by the trailer actually at E3 was your guardian. That scene is protecting your ghost. Like he's trying to destroy your ghost, and you're like protecting it, and then he kicks you off. So
I don't remember seeing that, but he does kick you a bunch and then kicks you off.
Yeah, you're cradling your ghost. That's why you're not like defending yourself. Oh, you can't defend yourself better. They lock the light away.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, but I didn't even think about that. It's like, what is going to happen to the ghost now that you've lost your connection to the
traveler?
To the traveler. Like you're locked away from the traveler's light. What does that mean for your ghost? Can your ghost help you anymore? What's going to happen with that? I'm curious about that. That'll be fun.
If you die, it's game over. You have to restart.
Yeah, that's the whole. I really, really liked like his whole thing. He's like, you've gotten used to immortality. Like the way he's taunting the Guardian there. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. That was a cool trailer, I guess. I just wanted more. I wanted that point, Chandler. I wanted my point for my prediction.
He won anyways. It's fine.
I know. I just want more points.
Quit being greedy.
I know. Moving on from that, was there anything because you watched the Sony conference, right?
I watched pieces of it. I saw a little bit of the Days Gone stuff, and then Spider-Man.
Okay, we'll get
Spider-Man. Just looked amazing.
Spider-Man did look amazing. We don't listen to us talk about it. Go watch it after we're done here.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Some stuff people were talking about, like, oh, it's QTEs everywhere. It's like, no, there were QTEs in very few spots, and that was during cinematic moments. It's like, and everybody's like, yeah, it's like, well, it's like Uncharted, so deal with that. And then I was listening to somebody say something about it, and they're like, well, I don't like Uncharted. It's like, oh, me neither, buddy, me neither. But that's not the reason I don't like Uncharted. I just don't like the genre. But moving on to talking about, so Spider-Man looked great. Spider-Man looked fantastic. It got a lot of people's game of the show. So moving on from that to talk about God of War. So God of War, man, this game looks so good. I love this new Kratos. We did not see a Kratos he was just, the way he's raising his son in this game is awesome. I think you see his wife or like the boy's mother, or maybe like somebody who knew the mother. I don't know. It depends on where that flashback was taking place. But she's the one that's saying like the gods don't appreciate trespassers. You see like he's in a vault somewhere, and he sees you see that like a Grecian urn that has him on it. And he kind of like turns away kind of in disgust about it. I'm like, that's cool. And the way that he's raising his son, I just thought he's like, we're going on a journey, and there's going to be a lot of danger. And I love the cool combos that it looks like you can have with your son. Like you're climbing up someplace, and like you get ambushed by somebody, and your son like hops up, like is on your back, and he just like moves over and he stabs the dude in the face. And it's like, yeah. And it looks like it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited. The new weapons that they showed off look really cool. The shield.
Yeah, that was interesting. It kind of like, formed out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but,
It's like a retractable shield.
Yeah, thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
It's like retractable. Like you pull it out and it like comes full circle around like that. And then you like move around with it. So you don't have a sword or anything. You're just like bashing people to death with your shield, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I love the boomerang axe. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. And then you see the world serpent, Drumonger. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. When he comes up and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight this guy. And he's like, what's he saying? And he's like, he says he wants to help. And it's like, oh, okay. I mean, it makes sense. Drumonger is like the world serpent and he does want to swallow the world and everybody in it. So I could understand fighting him, but at the same time, he also fights against the gods in Ragnarok. So let's just say what's going to happen here. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I really liked this trailer. I really am excited for this game to come out. It looked really far along, which makes me very excited. And I've never said that about a God of War game.
There you go.
But Kratos.
I've never played a God of War game, so
I played some of God of War 2, I think. I played the opening mission where you have to take on the Colossus, which it's cool. But yeah, no, I mean I'm really excited for God of War. Or Dad of War, however you want to call it. All right, that wraps up Sony's conference, though. Is there anything else you noticed about that conference that you want to talk about? Oh, yeah, actually, we should talk about one more thing. Tons of VR.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff.
There's more than 8 new VR games announced and shown off. If you combine the pre-show and the actual show. Tons of VR titles announced, man. It's awesome. It's a good time to own a PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
All right, next up is Nintendo's conference. Nintendo Odyssey looked amazing. Just once again, this is like Spider-Man. Just go watch it after we're done here. I thought Fire Emblem Heroes looked cool. Or not Heroes, Fire Emblem Warriors. They showed off the characters all anybody cares about. So I think that's cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing more from that. I think it'll be a cool, fun Musou game. So let's see here. Oh, we did, Chandler. The reason why they didn't debut the voice thing is because they've announced that it's coming in 2018. They're going to launch it.
The voice thing? What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry. They're their online feature for parties and stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
Like voice chat.
Right.
Like that feature is not going to come till 2018.
Gotcha. Okay.
And a lot of people are theorizing that the online service, Nintendo online service, isn't going to come out till then either.
Fair enough.
And let's talk about the two things that we didn't either of us mention. One is the fact that both are actually new Metroid games.
Right.
If you had told me before this conference that we'd get one Metroid game, I would have said you're out of your mind. If you told me two, I would have had some choice words that we could have used on a episode of this podcast that we can't use going forward. I would have told you are bat guano insane. All right, man. Guano insane completely. No way. Chandler, we're getting two of them.
Yeah. One's a remake of 2.
Yep, the original Game Boy one. Mm-hmm.
And then
Metroid
the
Prime
next
4.
one. Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4. So, folks, we got a GIF of Metroid Prime 4, so don't get all up in arms about it, but I can't stop you. You're Nintendo fanboys out there. You guys are just going to be pumped for it no matter what.
Yeah.
I will say be careful about Metroid 2 being released because it's being made by Mercury Steam Games, which did not make a good Castlevania 3DS game. So I don't know how it's going to work out for it being the Metroid game. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Steam Mercury Games. Not going to throw shade, but you guys did make a bad Castlevania 2 and a bad 3DS Castlevania game. Despite the fact that you guys had a really cool story going throughout of it with the different Belmonts in it. Anyway, that's pretty much it. There's other stuff that came out. There's just a ton of news, guys, and we'll be talking about just more and more stuff that came out of there over the next couple weeks. as we just kind of like disseminate everything that everybody saw at E3. Like there's just going to be a ton of stuff that we're going to keep talking about over the next couple of weeks, but we've already been going for
An hour and a half.
hour and a half. Like we knew this was going to be a spectacular, but I also don't want to like just talk about this stuff with you guys because I want to talk about also Chandler. I got back into a game that I tried out once and I wasn't fond of, and now I played it. I played it a lot over the weekend. I played it a lot.
I saw. Yeah. I saw.
I went from having like 8 hours of me messing around with a bunch of different classes in that game to let me go ahead and see how many hours I have in it now. I have 38 hours. I put 30 hours into it over the last few days.
Nice.
Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn. I have a friend who plays this game, and her talking about it got me so excited to play this game that I said, okay, maybe I'll check it out. And then I had buddies who are just like, yeah, I want to play this game now. It looks awesome. It's like, okay, looks like I'm going in. They're launching earlier today. They announced like they've opened up the open like early access to this game for people who pre-ordered the game for the new expansion, Stormblood. Like it looks like it's going to be a pretty good success on that. And something I did really find amazing is that you can play on PC with people on PS4 in this game. Once again,
oh, nice.
Once again, it's important for everybody to look at this and say, you know, maybe the best idea is not to use your PSN server. Maybe use your own server so you can actually have them connect to things. But I digress. It looks really cool. I've been playing it. I have a level 27, 28 Marauder that I'm leveling up. About to get to the point where I become a warrior, which is awesome. It's one of the job classes from your base class. They made changes since the last time I played. Last time I was playing the game, you had to be a level 30 Marauder and a level 15 Gladiator to become a warrior. And now they've changed it where, nope, you just got to be a level 30 Marauder. So I'm really excited to become a warrior. Finish up that quest line.
Is that a DPS class?
No, it's a tanking class.
Interesting.
Yep, it's one of the tank classes, and I'm going to take that up to 50 so that I can unlock Dark Knight and I can actually be the class I want to play. But with that said, Chandler, I've just been playing that a little bit. I want to thank everybody who's just had me on your podcast. But I did want to take a moment now. This is going to be kind of a side note, and I do want to like do a breakup of this. Give me just one moment here to pull this up. Because I mentioned this last year, or not last year, but last week. I mentioned this book that I've been reading. We were very lucky that Boss Fight Books, I'm actually real quickly here, I'm going to be doing this a little bit differently. I'm going to be doing an experimentation here where I'm
Are you
actually
sure you want to do the review on the post end of an E3 thing or on its own video? Or
I should probably do an on video, shouldn't I?
That makes way more sense.
That makes way more sense. And I shouldn't do it. You're right. Thank you for pointing that out. I just really want to do this review because I've been thinking about doing it since I finished the book like 5 days ago. So I finished it on Monday, and I'm just like, I really want to talk about it, but I didn't want to put it all into E3 stuff, and it makes sense that I should wait till it's after. Know what? Next week, actually sometime over this next week, probably over this weekend, I will be putting out a full review for Kingdom Hearts 2 by Alexa Ray Correa from Boss Fight Books. They sent us a press copy, and I read it, and I have I'm really excited to review this book for you guys. It comes out June 27th, 2017. So we will still be getting it before it comes out. I already put out an early snapshot of kind of my initial impressions of this book on Twitter. So you can go back to, I believe it was Friday, and check that out. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't think we have anything else to talk about, Chandler, do we?
I don't think so.
Yeah. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to Knotty Gamers episode 61, our E3 extravaganza. I've been your host, Cameron Abbott, the unsexiest comedian that you know, and the man whose face is built for radio. And you can follow me and keep an eye on what I'm doing over at Twitter, on Twitter at Unsexiest Comedy. You can follow us at Knotty Gamers on Twitter and Instagram. And you can even go to facebook.com/Knotty Gamers, like our page there, so that will show up there whenever we put out new content for you as well. You can, if you're already on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe this video. This video, subscribe to our channel. We do have our big summer YouTube initiative. We're going to be start rolling that out sometime in the near future. And when I say near future, I mean really near future. Not like, sometime in the next, like over the next few months. Like we're like, get ready, buckle up, buckaroos.
The first episode's basically done at this point. So
we were doing you and Neil have been working really hard on post-production stuff while I've been sick and covering E3. So very, very grateful for you guys. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks also to Blessing Adie, Ian, Alex Van Aken, and everybody over at OK Beast. They did some fantastic coverage as well. Go to okbeast.com or just follow them on Twitter at okbeastnow. Fantastic group of gentlemen over there, and they killed it during E3. I really enjoyed being part of their E3 Extravaganza podcast. Also, big thanks to Alex O'Neill and the folks over at Irrational Passions. I said it before in a thank you letter after Kind of Funny Live 3, but I did want to reemphasize this now. Without the mic they gave me a few years ago, I never would have gotten this itch and this bug to really do this. To have the confidence to know that I could do this with Chandler. And without Irrational Passions, there definitely would not have been the inspiration for Knotty Gamers, at least not in the way it is now with me a part of it. It definitely wouldn't be called Knotty Gamers either, because Chandler would not have done something by himself called Knotty Gamers.
That's true.
But thank you guys so much for watching this video, listening to this podcast. Hashtag Dutch Hype, which you guys know means no matter where you are, where you're from, if you enjoy our content, we love and appreciate you for it. So thank you so much for that. And as always, stay complicated out there. All right, and that's the end of the show. So people who are watching live, which I believe is nobody, but if you are watching live or you're watching in post, this is basically just where we're wrapping up the episode. Chandler, you want to go ahead and shoot that audio over to me so I can get that edited and put up tonight? Because this ain't Irrational Passions podcast. We get it done in one night, yo.
There you go.
Granted, I'm only doing 2 people's stuff, and I'm not going into the in-depth that other people do for their podcasts. I use shortcuts in getting ours edited out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to go ahead and end this live show right now. I don't know why I'm talking like there's people here, but because there isn't any, I can see that. But if you are watching this in post when it's been archived and when it's on our YouTube channel, if you like the video, hit that like button, the thumbs up, leave some comments about what you thought about it, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more of what we're about to put out into the world. And to all of you, I say, stay complicated out there.